We all make mistakes, right? Well, what if you made a terrible mistake, but you had a chance to live that year over again and try to fix it? That's the topic for today's film. This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. This is my closet full of all the stuff that I love. And today we look at a film about a woman trying to change her destiny. Will it work or not? It's also been called a lost noir classic. But is it really noir? And is it a classic? Let's check it out. Today's film is Repeat Performance. It's from 1947, 93 minutes long. Beautiful black and white. In the first 5 minutes of this film, the main character, seen here, shoots and kills her husband on New Year's Eve. She's distraught, obviously, and just wishes that she could have this year to live over again. And before we know it, the year starts again. And she's determined to change her fate and her destiny so that this terrible thing never happens. There's a lot of good dramatic irony because we know she's living it over again and she knows it, but nobody else knows it. And she's warning some of her friends about things that might happen to them, and they're just kind of confused why she's acting this way. So that part is pretty fun. The main character is played by Joan Leslie. I was unfamiliar with her until I realized she was also in High Sierra with Humphrey Bogart, which I did an episode on earlier. And mainly she got roles as the ingenue. She started very early in the film business, or she was like 15 when she got her first roles, but she never got the more mature roles that she really wanted. This is probably the best role she ever got. Lewis Hayward, who I'd never heard of before, plays her husband. He's a real jerk in this one, so he's pretty good at playing a jerk, actually. He's always jealous of her and always angry at her, and she just, is totally devoted to him. So I don't know what his problem is. Well, he drinks too much. That's one of his problems. Probably the best performance in this film is by Richard Basehart, who plays a character named William. He's a poet, and he seems to be acting on a more natural, less melodramatic way than all these other characters are acting. And I didn't even know it was Richard Basehart until I saw the credits, but he stood out as being a more interesting performer in this and a more interesting character, really. Also showing up in a small role is Natalie Schafer, who you might know better as Mrs. Howell on the old Gilligan's Island series. And you see her show up in old films now and then. The director I had never heard of before, Alfred Werker. He's credited with directing He Walked by Night, also starring Richard Basehart, a solid film noir. But the rumor is that Anthony Mann, who was a great director, was actually the real director of that film. The music, totally overblown, way over the top. This is billed as a lost noir classic, so you can't help but think while you're watching it, is this really film noir? Let's just say this. Eddie Muller does an introduction at the beginning. If you're not familiar with him, he is the head of the Film Noir Foundation. He's great. He's written books about film noir, and he's just fantastic. He sort of categorizes this film as fantasy noir or supernatural noir. And he says, we have westerns that are noir, we have war films that are noir. Why not fantasy noir? Totally valid point. Absolutely. He also said that this is the one film fans asked him for more than any other film, as far as they want to see it screened, they want to see a digital restoration of it. As far as supernatural noir goes, I've done 2 other episodes on these type of films. One was Night Has a Thousand Eyes. The other one was Alias Nick Beale. I think those 2 are far, far better films than this one, as far as that subgenre, I guess you might call it, of supernatural noir. Visually, the beginning, the end, a sequence near the end, have that noir look to it, expressionistic, the high contrast, shadows, lighting, play into it. Otherwise, it's very flat looking and a very ordinary looking film. Thematically, you could argue, yes, it has noir elements because it is about destiny. It is about fate and about this one woman who's kind of trapped into trying to change her destiny. But overall, this is really what you might call a backstage drama. all the characters are involved in the theater. They're actresses or actors or producers or directors or musicians or writers, and all seem to be pretty upper class. And a lot of the action takes place at these dinner parties on New Year's Eve. And you're going to hear you're going to see a lot of guys wearing suits and ties throughout the film, and women wearing gowns, very formal gowns, and furs. And you're going to hear a lot of, "Hello, darling, how are you?" A lot of that kind of talk, and some witty repartee, which is more annoying than witty, actually. There are a few choice moments. The main character warns the Richard Basehart character to stay away from this one woman because she's going to have him committed to an insane asylum, which is really weird because does not act crazy at all. You know, he's a little offbeat, but he's a poet. He doesn't act crazy at all, and there's no reason for him to be in an insane asylum. And a little bit of a spoiler, he does end up in an insane asylum, and I still couldn't figure out why he did, because he seems normal to me. Her husband is the one that should have been put in the insane asylum because he's totally abusive towards her and a total jerk. He has one line in this film where he says, "You're a woman. You're not expected to have judgment or intelligence." So imagine saying that to your wife or girlfriend, and imagine the reaction that line would get if you see this film on the big screen in the theater, right? So for repeat performance, I'm going to give this 3 slaps. And usually I say it's not a film noir unless somebody's getting slapped. Well, there is a woman slapping another woman, and there's a man slapping a woman also. I'm not going to say who these people are, though, of course. So what's on this disc? Well, this is from Flicker Alley. I've talked about them before. They specialize in restoring these things, and it took apparently 15 years for this thing to be restored from film to digital. And this thing looks amazing, and it sounds great too. Really beautiful looking film. So I always like to support their work. And you get a booklet in here, which is okay. I was a little disappointed in the booklet because it's about 20 pages long. It's nice and glossy and everything, and it's got some stills from the film. But it's mainly about how the film's different from the novel. You get the Blu-ray, you get a DVD, you get the reversible artwork here inside, and then you get some really nice extras. You have the introduction by Eddie Muller. That's about 5 minutes long. You have a 10-minute documentary about the actress, Joan Leslie, very informative. You get a 30-minute documentary about Eagle Lion Studios, which produced the film. They were mainly known for really super low-budget films. This was like their first prestige film. That was really well done, too. There's some stills and stuff, and there's an audio commentary, which I did not listen to. So I like to support their stuff, and they did a great job with this one. So where can you see repeat performance? That could be a little difficult. TCM has shown it in the past. It might be on their website or on their app. You can try that. You can try renting it. You can try the library, but I doubt if they're going to carry something like this. It's a little bit obscure. If you want to buy it, these aren't cheap. I think the lowest price is about $30. That's what I paid for it. And so if you want to support that kind of restoration work, you might want to buy it. So repeat performance, fun watch, not the greatest film noir I've ever seen, but the restoration and the extras really made it worth it. So hope you like this video. Feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below here. Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. Otherwise, thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.